I don't know what's happening. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Wait a minute. Oh, look, there it is. Look, I had a whole problem right now. What does the lead attorney call it? Struggle streaming. So now we are going to, um, I don't know what you call it. We're gonna turn this down because, yeah, okay. So we're gonna present because we're reading something. We're reading. Oh my God, really? Look, I'm having a whole issue right now. What the fuck is happening in my life? I didn't save none of those papers, did I? No, I did not. Okay. The Constitution. So we'll just go there. Um, share the Constitution. Okay. What does it look like? No, we got to do this the other way. This way. There we go. Okay. So the U.S. Constitution. We're on number 5 because we did 1 through 4 yesterday. We're on number 5. Okay. And this, by the way, I should introduce myself. I am Nikki K, and this is my live stream. In the mornings, I do Das Bible. I also do raccoon shorts because I have 5 raccoons and 8 cats, and it's a good time. So I do raccoon shorts, and then at the evening, I read American documents and look up people in American history to see what they look like and if we could tell what kind of person they are, because why not? So I want to welcome you. And yesterday we read sections 1 through 4, and today we are on section 5. I have never read this document before. I have never attempted to read it before. So this is my first reaction to this document. So just know I might say some things that might make you say, "What the but just know you could always go into chat and tell me what you think. I got my chat here on the phone. Tell me what you know, better yet. Tell me what you know about this document and teach me stuff because I am learning. So feel free. And then press like and subscribe because I do these American documents. I try to do them nightly so we can learn something. So let's learn something. So it says Section 5 Powers and Duties of Congress. Each house shall be the judge of elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide. So I I'm not exactly sure what that means, and I'm sure this is going to be one of those things I'm going to have to ask Dustin on a live stream one day what this means. Okay. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. Well, look at that, Republicans. You could expel uh, Shahira Sally. No problem. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings and from time to time to publish the same, excepting such parts may, in their judgment, require secrecy. So if they think you shouldn't know, you're not gonna know. Okay. The yeas and nays of the members of either house on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered in the journal. Neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place that in which the two houses shall be sitting. So how did they go on that outing to the Bahamas? How did they do that? Okay. Neither house during the session of Congress shall, without consent of the other, adjourn for more. Oh, I already read this. Duh. Okay. So, section 6, rights and disabilities of members. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Who knows what it means? But apparently they're disabled. Okay. The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases except treason, felony, breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at session of their respective houses and going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house They shall not be questioned in any other place. They have all committed those things. They can all be arrested for that. Some Republicans included. I'm not saying both sides didn't commit all of these things because, yes, they did. And they're involved in a lot more. Did you see that? I got this lighter and I put this magnet here and it just attaches to the magnet. But anyway, they have all committed those things. Oh, I just lost the one viewer I had. I don't know. I offended somebody or something. Anyway, no senator or representative shall, during the time which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the emoluments whereof shall have been what? Or the emoluments whereof shall have been increased during such time, and no person holding any office under the United States shall be a member of either house in his continuance in office. What? No senator or representative during the time for which he was elected be appointed to any civil office. So you can't be a cop, a firefighter, a mailman, or a what's that called? Um Damn it, I don't remember what it's called. Um I don't remember what it's called. But anyways, section 7. Okay. Legislative process. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments on other bills. That's not. The House of Representatives is totally different than the Senate. Why is the Senate like, okay, House of Representatives, I guess you can do this? Like, it's totally fine. Like, I know it's your job to pass these things, but you gotta make us feel good about it. Why? Why? See, there's a reason for this. There's a reason. The House did something and the senators were like, "Oh my god, that's against everything we said. No, we can't do our bill if you do that bill." So when we write this paper, the House of Representatives can't do that. This is a stupid thing because the House of Representatives and the Senate are different. Why would the Senate have to approve of that? Well, maybe because the Senate can shoot it down. You get this exactly what I said. The Senate's like, no, 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 no. House of Representatives, you cannot do your own thing. No, you have to go through Big Brother first. And then whatever we say has to go through the president. So let's hope he agrees. But if he doesn't agree, we can just take it back and pass it anyways. I don't know what the point of this is, but okay. Every bill shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become law, be presented to the president. If he approves, he will sign it. Who shall? Oh, but if not, he shall return it with his objections to that house in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large in their journal and proceed to reconsider. After such reconsideration, 2/3 of that house shall agree to pass the bill. It shall be sent together with the objections to the other house, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that house, it shall become law. But in all such cases, the votes of both houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons for and against the bill shall be entered in the journal of each house respectively. If any bill is not returned to the president within 10 days, except for Sunday, it shall, and after it had been presented to him, the same shall be a law in like manner as he had signed it. Wait. If any bill shall not be returned by the president within 10 days, except Sunday, after it was presented to him, the same shall be a law in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress, by their adjournment, prevents its return, which in case it is not law. Okay. Every order, resolution, or vote which the concurrence of the Senate and House may be necessary, except if they want to adjourn, be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and the House, according to rules and limitations described in the case of a bill. Okay. We are going to end right there. Now, we're going to look at who the founding fathers are. Wait. God bless America. This thing, it quit working because it fell and it quit working. Okay. Okay, so we already did James Madison. We did that one already. Okay. We these ones are easy. Let's do John Adams. We'll just do them randomly. Oops, my bad. Who am I seeing? Okay. James Madison. Or John Adams. My bad. Oh, this guy looks like a hobbit. Hold on. He really does. He looks like a little hobbit. Okay. I don't want 50% off everything. I okay. Look at his little face. And he's got a weird looking nose, though. It's not exactly do. What's his name? John Adams, right? What the hell's his name? I don't remember. Oh, John Adams. Okay. We're gonna find out about this guy. See, he looks like a cute little weird hobbit. Okay. Let's see if we can see. Maybe we can find out about this guy. Oh shit. I don't know what the fuck happened. Okay. Britannica. All right, here we go. Can we share the screen? What the fuck just happened? Uh, mm, Here we go. I think. Okay. Okay. Here we go. What the hell? Okay. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Here we go. Second president of the United States. Oh, he's he's not a Scorpio. Sagittarius. Oh, no. He's a Scorpio. If he was in the old style. So he was a Scorpio. They turned him into a Libra for no reason. No, Sagittarius for no reason. Okay. But anyways, he was born. They can't choose between Sagittarius and Scorpio. But anyways, it was in Braintree, now called Quincy, Massachusetts. He was an early advocate of the American independence from Great Britain, a major figure in the Continental Congress, um, the author of the Massachusetts Constitution, a signer of the Treaty of Paris, the first American ambassador to the Court of St. James, which was Epstein Island, by the way, and the first vice president and second president from 1797 to 1801. Although Adams was regarded by his contemporary as one of the most significant statesmen of the Revolutionary era, his reputation faded in the 19th century, only to ascend again during the last half of the 20th century. What? Weren't we in like not too long ago? Weren't we in the 20th century? Wasn't it 20th century fox? The 20th. He did not die recently, did he? Did he die in the 1990s? What is happening? How is it 20th Century Fox if they're saying he died in the last half of the 20th century? Somebody should comment on that, but whatever. The modern edition of his correspondence was prompted a rediscovery of his bracing honesty and pungent way with words. His importance as a political thinker, his realistic perspective on American foreign policy, and his patriotic role as a founder of one of the most prominent families in America. Well, I don't know how it prompted anything because nobody's honest and nobody is blunt with words. And if you are, you're a pariah. So, how the hell did that happen and when? Because no, it didn't. But okay. So, there are some words to look up here. So, what's the first word? Uh, the American. Okay. He was an early advocate of American independence. What does that say? I don't know why I'm so tired. Okay. The American Revolution. What is happening? Okay. No. Mm-mm. Okay. Here it is, the paper I wanted to show you. Okay. Okay. It was called The American Revolution was an insurrection carried out by 13 of Great Britain's North American colonies. No, literally, it was one or two, three. It was a couple boats of people in winter, is what it was. It wasn't 13 great colonies. It was a dude on a boat. That dude's name is George Washington. Him and like 700 dudes, I think, are the ones that defeated the British. But anyway, okay. Britain's North American colonies began in 1775 and ended with a peace treaty in 1783. So what the fuck is 1776? What the fuck? Okay. Anyway, it ended with a peace treaty. The colonies won political independence and form went on to form the United States of America. The war followed more than a decade of growing estrangement between the British Crown and the large and influential segment of its North American colonies that was caused by British attempts to assert greater control over colonial affairs after having long adhered to a policy of salutary neglect until early in 1778. The conflict was a civil. Okay. So what is 1776 if it started in 1775? And remember, the Confederate Constitution said that was 2 years later in 1777 was the Articles of the Confederation. So what exactly was it? But okay. Okay. What is this one? Here we go. Oh shit. My bad. It's supposed to be the other paper. Mhm. Mm-mm. My bad. Yep. Oh, shit. I totally got it wrong. Okay. Was this John Quincy? This wasn't John Quincy Adams, but okay. Let's see what the Constitution or the Continental Congress says. Oh my God. No, is this really okay? This is a new live streaming thing. And I'm not exactly sure how to use it. It's not the same one I tried yesterday. It's a different one. Um, this one is called Restream, I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's called Restream. Okay. So let's see what Continental Congress said. It's not working so well. I don't know. Okay. It says Continental Congress in the period of the American Revolution, the body of delegates who spoke and acted collectively for the people of the colony. Mhm. States that later became the United States. Okay. That became later the United States. The term most specifically refers to the bodies that met in 1774, 1775, and 1781, and respectively designated as the First Continental and the Second Continental Congress in the spring of 1774. The British Parliament's passage of intolerable coercive acts including closing of the port in Boston provoked King resentment in the colonies. The First Continental Congress convened in response to the acts by the colonial. What? The colonial what? Okay. So how okay. I guess you don't get the whole thing. Okay. The First Continental Congress. Okay. So they formed because the people was acting a fool. So they tried to step in between the British and the people. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So Treaty 1783. Okay. Is a collection of treaties, including the representatives of Great Britain on one side and the United States, France, and Spain on the other. Preliminary articles, often called the Preliminary Treaty, were signed in Paris. Oh my God, I'm rejecting this shit. Oh my God. I don't want to read it because it just seems some kind of way, and my brain's like, no. Okay. On the other, preliminary articles, often called the Preliminary Treaty of Paris, were signed at Paris between Britain and the States on November 30th, 1782. On September 3rd, 1783, three definitive treaties were signed between Britain and the United States, and between Britain and France and Spain, respectively, at Versailles and the Netherlands. And Britain also signed a preliminary hearing treaty on September 2nd, 1783, and a final separate peace on May 20th. That might have been 1783. Oh. 1784. By the terms of the U.S. Britain Treaty, Britain recognized the independence of the states with generous boundaries to the Mississippi River, but retained Canada, access to the Newfoundland fisheries was guaranteed to Americans, and navigation of the Mississippi was open to both British land and the United States. Creditors of neither country were impeded the collection of their debts, and Congress was recommended to the states that America loyalists be treated fairly and their confiscated property restored. Some of these provisions were caused later difficulty and disputes. To France, British land surrendered to Tobago and Senegal. Spain obtained Minorca and East and West Florida. The Netherlands came off poorly. Cutting. The port of Nagapattinam in India, Britain, and allowing the British free navigation rights in the Dutch field Moluccas. Okay. So this was a thing about land. Okay. Oh, no. What did I do in life? Hold on. Okay. Okay. So we oh, I forgot a word. Treaty of Paris. Ambassador to the court of St. James. This Epstein Island. And the first vice president and then president in the United States as the most significant statesman of the Revolutionary. Uh, okay. The founder of one of the most prominent families in American history, the Rothschilds. Let's see. The Adams family. Okay. I'm just kidding, but I don't think is the Adams family one of the 13 because I don't think so. He's a political intellectual liberal. Intellectuals are so bad. They are. They are so bad. Okay. Hi, Kelso. What? No. It was, though, a little. It's not as bad as it was. Oh, look, there's more words on this guy. Okay. So there's more words about this guy. Do we want to read more? How long have we been on here? I don't know. It doesn't say. Oh, almost 50 minutes. Well, 49 minutes and 11 seconds. So make sure you watch this on 2 times speed. It'll be a lot better. Okay. We're going to get rid of this Constitution paper because we don't need to read that anymore. Okay. Adams was the oldest of 3 sons of Deacon John Adams. So he's a preacher's son. The only one that could ever love me was the son of a preacher man. Okay. So anyway, we read this part, right? Ooh, no, we didn't. All right, hold on. He was the eldest of 3 of Deacon John Adams and Susanna Boylan of Braintree, Massachusetts. His father was only a farmer and shoemaker, but the Adams family could trace its lineage back to the first generation of Puritan settlers in New England. Wasn't John Adams against these people or Madison because they wasn't really doing the Jesus thing? But just know, Mr. Madison, they're still not. Okay. So he could trace his family back a bazillion. Okay. A local selectman and leader in the community, Deacon Adams, encouraged his oldest son to aspire toward a career in the ministry. In keeping with that goal, Adams graduated from Harvard College in 1755. So he was only like 20 years old when he was like, yeah, I'm going to fight. Anyway, the next 3 years he taught grammar school in Worcester. Oh no, he would have had to been older than 20 years. Wait a minute, when was he born? It doesn't say when he was born. Wait a minute. When was he born? It doesn't say. Oh, 1735. So what's 1735 to 1755? Oh, that is like 20 years. Okay, see, I knew I was right. The next 3 years, he taught grammar school in Worcester, Massachusetts. While contemplating his future, he eventually chose law rather than ministry, and in 1758, he moved back to Braintree. And then he soon be, began practicing law uh, in nearby Boston. In 1764, Adams married Abigail Smith, a minister's daughter from the neighboring Weymouth, intelligent, well read, vivacious, and just as fiercely independent as her new husband. Abigail became a confidante and political partner who helped to stabilize and sustain in the ever irascible and highly volatile Adams throughout his long career. The letters between them afford an extended glimpse into their deepest thoughts and emotions, provoke modern readers with the most revealing record of personal intimacy between husband and wife. Were they sexting? They were sexting. Never write anything you don't want read back to you in court. They were sexting. That is so funny. Typical of their epistolary exchange, Abigail's lament regarding John's prolonged absence in her letter to him, November 27th, 1775. Oh, well, no wonder he went to fight. He's like, no, I'm not even dealing with this shit right now. No way. Listen, you crazy ass woman, not doing it. Their first child, Abigail Amelia, was born in 1765. Their first son, John Quincy Adams, arrived 2 years later. Two other sons, Thomas and Charles followed. Shortly thereafter, another child, Susanna, did not survive infancy. I bet she didn't. He had probably super postpartum depression because I'm sure he just knocked you up and ran away because that's what they do sometimes, especially those political guys. They'll just knock you up and run off. That's kind of what happened to that, what's her name? She unsubscribed all of her kids. She's crazy. I don't remember her name. But her story really offended me. But anyway, that's just what I was thinking. You know, whatever. By then, Adams' legal career was on the rise, and he had become a visible member of the resistance that questioned Parliament's right to tax the American colonies. Oh, yeah, they flipped McNuggets over some tea. Anyway, a dissertation of the canon and feudal law. Okay, let's read this because I'm sure it's great. Okay. Did it not go? Okay. We'll see if it my thing oh, I don't know. Uh, it did go. Okay. The United States tax controversy. Adams warned in his dissertation on the canon and feudal law that Parliament armed with this view of its powers would try to tax the colonies again. And this happened in 1767. Then Charles Townshend became the chancellor of the Exchequer and ministry formed by Pitt. I don't know what that means. But I want to know what kind of word is Enquire Pitt. Okay, so the colonists, jubilant at the repeal of the Stamp Act, drank innumerable toasts, sounded peals of cannon, and were prepared to ignore the del- declaratory act as face saving window dressing. John Adams, however, warned in his dissertation on uh, he warned in his dissertation on the canon feudal law that Parliament. Oh, I read all this already. Okay. When Charles Townhead became the chancellor of the Exchequer and ministry formed by Pitt. What the fuck? See, these are all people that I don't know, and we're not supposed to be going down this rabbit hole. We're supposed to be finding out what this thing is, and it's not telling us what this thing is. It's just telling us it exists. So, okay. Anyway, okay. The feudal law, which justified opposition, the recently enacted Stamp Act, an effort to raise revenue by requiring all publications and legal documents to bear a stamp, by arguing that the parliament's intrusions into a colonial affairs expose inherently coercive and corrupt character of English policy, intensely combative, full of private doubts about his own capacities, but never of his cause. Adam became a leading figure in opposition to the Townsend X. All right, let's see what this is. The Townsend X, June 15th to July 7th, 1767. So, what is 1765? What is that, right? Because all this terrible stuff is happening after 17. Oh, no, never mind. I lied. I thought that said 76, but this is 67. The Colonial U.S. History Series 4X passed by the British Parliament in an attempt to assert at what it considered to be historic right to exert authority over the colonies through compensation of recal recalcitrant representative assembly, and through strict provisions for the collection of revenue duties. The British American colonists named the acts after Charles Townshend, who sponsored them. The suspending act prohibited the New York Assembly from conducting any further business until it co- complied with the financial requirements of the Quartering Act 1765. They do the same thing in the Bible. They just make shit up. They just make shit up for something they're fucking mad about. They're like, no, no, no. Whatever you're doing, we're not doing that. Okay? We're making it a law that you can't do that. That's exactly what they do in Das Bible when they make all them rules. They make them because they saw something they didn't like, or somebody was doing something they didn't like. So they made it a rule. And this is really kind of like that. They're just making rules because they're upset about something. And it's kind of messed up that they just go around making rules that they don't need to make just because they're feeling some kind of way about something. I said this to Dustin yesterday about you can unsubscribe people for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich most of the time. And he's like, well, maybe they deserve to be unsubscribed. And it's like, that's only because one person said so. It's not a whole people's whatever. It's not. It's because that one person decided about the other person. It's not a thing. Okay. Anyway, so they're just going around making rules and shit. And they didn't want to comply with these quartering acts from 1765 for the expenses of British troops stationed there. The second act, often called the Townshend Duties the Revenue Act, imposed direct revenue and duties. That is duties, not merely at regulating trade, but putting money into the British treasury. These were payable at colonial parts on lead, glass, paper, paint, and tea. It was the second time in the history of the colonies that a tax had been levied solely for the purpose of raising revenue. The third act established strict and often arbitrary machinery of custom collections in the American colonies, including additional officers, searchers, spies, Coast Guard vessels, and search warrants, writ of assistance, and a board of custom commissioners at Boston. Why though? Why? Why do they need all of this? Well, because Americans are out of control. Well, not anymore because they put fluoride in the water. Now we're all docile scare babies. But things are happening. And a board of custom committee. Oh, I already read all of this. Okay. And a board of customs commissioners at Boston, all to be financed out of customs revenue. The fourth Townsend Act, known as the Identity Act, was aimed at enabling East India Company to compete with the tea that was smuggled by the Dutch. It lowered commercial duties on tea imported to England by the East India, and it gave company a refund of the duty for the tea that was exported to the colonies, compensating for the loss of revenue. brought about by the Identity Act was another reason for the imposition of the town's head duties. What does that mean? Why doesn't it tell us what the Townsend Act is? Does it? It doesn't, does it? Townsend Act. Okay. It tells us about the guy. He was born on August 27th. He's a damn it, I don't remember. Huh. But he was born in 1725. So in 1776 he was like 91 or something. Oh, he died September 4th, 1967. How do you do the age thing? 1925 to 67. So he was like 40 something. Man, he died at 40, but he was born in British land. A chancellor of the Exchequer, whose measure for the tax inflation of the British colonies intensified as the hostilities that eventually led to the revolution. The second son of the third Viscount Townsend, he was educated at Cambridge and Leyden in 1747. He was elected to Parliament as the member of the Board of Trade from 1749 to 1754. He showed an interest in increasing British powers of taxation and had control over the colonies. In 1754 and 55, he served on the board of Admiralty. Admiralty, whatever. He was secretary at war in 1761 and 62 and paymaster general from May 65 to July 66 when he became chancellor of the exchange corps in the ministry of William Pitt. The elder hold on. William Pitt, the elder. Soon Pitt became severely ill, and Towns had assumed effective control of the administration. What a what do you think? What do you think? Okay. Okay. So this guy was an enemy. Oh, isn't there a House of Commons still? Oh, that's a British thing, ain't it? House of Commons. Okay. Townshend proved to be financially brilliant and determined, but devoid of sound political judgment. So he's a liberal. Well, you can tell because he's doing evil shit. But whatever. Okay, let's see what he looked like. Oh, I bet he ended up fat when he was older. Look at those jowls. I'm willing to bet he got fat. Haha, he was fat. Look, there's his arm. It's fat as fuck. And they didn't get him from the waist down because he's probably fat. Okay, let's see. Can we get pictures of him? No, that's the only picture. I wonder, could we get another picture of him? Maybe not, huh? Oh, it's still going. Okay, okay. Which imposed duties on imported commodities. Yep. And they still do this, the liberals. And they send our stuff over there with no thing. But then that place that they sent it to brings it back and we pay double the taxes for it because they didn't pay any taxes for it. But hold on, let's see this. Uh, Despite his hostility toward the British government, when was he hostile to them? He worked for them in every single, almost every single office. How was he? Look, that motherfucker was an enemy. All of them are enemies. All this guy was an enemy. And look, we're gonna read about that Paul Revere guy because I'm pretty sure he was not an enemy. But the people that wrote this fucking look, look, I don't know what's happening, but this guy was an enemy no matter what. If they say he was hostile to it, no, the fuck he wasn't. He was in a lot of offices in their government. But anyways. Oh, this is John Adams, not Townsend. That's my bad. Okay. Where was I in life? There we go. Okay. Adams agreed to defend the British soldiers who had fired on a crowd, which became known as the Boston Massacre. That's right. John Adams did do that. He got two of them off. That's absolutely right. He did do that. And you wanna know how I learned that? Murdoch's attorney, the senator guy, Dick Poot, he, uh he taught me about that. Well, he said it during, uh, when people were asking him a lot of questions about shit. He was like, "Hey, John Adams did it to the British." Okay. His insistence on upholding the legal rights of the soldiers, who in fact had become provoked, made him temporarily unpopular. but also marked him as one of the most principled radicals in the burgeoning movement for American independence. He had a penchant for doing the right thing, and most especially when it made him unpopular. That's pretty cool. Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. But he did do that. He did he did do that. Let's see. What is this provoke thing? Oh. Huh. It already told us what it was. This Boston Massacre. Okay. So this is where a lot of people get it from. Shooting at okay. The Continental Congress, we just read about that. Foreign Service. Okay. Okay. By the time Adams arrived in Paris, the treaty creating an alliance with France had already concluded. He quickly returned home in 1779, just in time to join the Massachusetts Constitutional Convention. The other delegates, acknowledging his constitutional expertise, simply handed him the job of drafting what became the Massachusetts Constitution in 1780, which immediately became the model for the other state constitutions in its existence on a bicameral legislator and separation of powers, major influence on the Constitution of the United States. So, Massachusetts Constitution was before the regular Constitution? Oh, it was because the Constitution was written in a different time. The Congress then joined or then ordered Adams to rejoin Franklin and Paris to lead the American delegation responsible for negotiating an end to the war with Britain. This time, he took his youngest son, Charles, as well as John, having Abigail attend to the farm and the other two children in Braintree. Not until 1784, almost 5 years later, the entire family returned to Paris. By then, Adams had shown himself an unnatural diplomat, exhibiting a level of candor and confidential style toward both English and French negotiations that alienated Franklin, who became to regard his colleague as highly deranged. Okay, Democrats see Republicans as slightly deranged, but also Republicans see liberals as crazy as they are. And I don't know, it does say He's a liberal, so who knows? But he says a lot of good stuff, you know? He says a lot of good stuff. Adams, for his part, thought Franklin ex- excessively impressed with his own stature as the Gaelic version of the American genius, and therefore, inadequately attuned to the important difference between American and French interests. Okay. Enemy. And peace negotiations, the favorable terms achieved in the Peace of Paris 1783 can be attributed to the effective blend of Franklin's dissertation and Adams' bulldog temperament. Adams' reputation for the emotional explosions also dates from this period. Oh, yeah, he might. mm, ex- Emotional explosions. Mm, that's kind of okay. Dates also from this period. Recent scholarly studies suggest he might have suffered from hyperthyroid, which consequently is known as grave disease. I have that hypothyroid. Okay. In 1784, Jefferson arrived in Paris to replace Franklin as the American minister at the French court. Over the next few months, Jefferson became the unofficial member of the Adams family. Wait, ain't I reading about the other guy? Wait, yeah, I'm reading about the other guy. So what does Jefferson have to do with it? Okay, okay. I'm not reading about Jefferson because I don't know. Okay, so what does this say? Political philosophy of John Adams. And this is where we're going to end. Because he was the official embodiment of American independence from the British Empire, Adams was largely ignored and regulated to periphery of the court during his nearly 3 years in London. Still brimming with energy, he spent his time studying the history of European politics for patterns and lessons that might assist the fledgling American government in its efforts to achieve that no major European nation had managed to produce, namely a stable Republican form of government. Okay. So John Adams was a Republican because America. Wow. Okay. Okay. So, wait. There I am. Welcome. Okay. We are gonna end right there. Oh my god, it's been an hour and a half. Okay. Watch this on 2 times speed. I think I told you that in the beginning. Anyway, I hope you have the greatest night ever. Go give your pillow some head and your sheets some ass. I will see you later. Bye.